That sucked.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Thursday, September 18th, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen. Every single day, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. The Tigers need to go to Amazon today to get some runs. They need to just, however much runs cost, they need a lot of them. They also need pitching. They also need relief help. If only there was like a deadline, will you say, in the middle of the season where you could, like, hey, this is the last day you can, acquire outside help to make your team better. The Detroit Tigers lose 4-0 at the hands of the Cleveland Guardians. They fall to 85-67 on the season as Cleveland hits the 80 win mark on the year and improves to 80-71. First thought is that absolutely sucked. That was an incredibly frustrating baseball game. That was an incredibly frustrating watch for me, and I'm sure for tens, hundreds of thousands of Tigers fans everywhere. I'm not really sure where I was going with that. I was trying to be like, diplomatic, if you will. I thought Jack Flaherty was good enough. I don't really blame Tommy Kahnle for the run he gave up. Well, I guess it was tagged to Brant Herter, but I don't really blame either of them too terribly much for that. This offense got shut out, struck out 13 times, and went 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. That's awesome, man. That's just fantastic. That's a series loss to a divisional opponent that is now all of a sudden kind of like breathing down your neck. The lead in the American League Central is now 4.5 games. It was like 15 in July. And you still have 4 games left against Cleveland, who apparently you can't beat. And that doesn't even include 6 games against the Braves and the Red Sox. I absolutely hated this baseball game. I try not to use the word hate these days. I try to eliminate that from my vocabulary as best I can. It is impossible for me to do when describing the 9 innings of baseball I just watched. From pretty much start to finish. Like in the first inning, you had Parker Meadows with a double start off the Tigers offense, and then just nothing happens after that. It also felt like I thought the defense was just lax. Like it just lackadaisical, lazy defense. The worst situational hitting you will literally ever see. And of course, then naturally the pitching, which has been a disaster for the entire second half, gives you a performance that, until the 9th inning when they're throwing out Urquidy and Paddock, was good enough to keep you in and win most ball games. So naturally the offense had to completely fall asleep at the wheel. This was brutal, man. The whole second half has been frustrating and has kind of been a roller coaster and been up and down. As I have mentioned numerous times, I think the deadline was a complete failure. That you added really no legitimate help outside of Finnegan. So, of course, he had to get hurt. And now a divisional lead has almost, not completely, okay? It's important to remember it is still 4.5, which is more than most other division leads this time of the year. But you still deleted over 10 games of your divisional cushion. I feel like yesterday I was not necessarily defending the Tigers. I at least tried to make the point clear that, like, you have to learn how to win these close games. You have to win these close games. This one, I have very little defense of. This was a just, I don't even know how to describe it without, like, cussing or like saying something I can't say on air. Like that was brutal to watch. What went wrong? Well, it's hard to win when you score 0 runs. I already mentioned 13 strikeouts, 0 for 8 with RISP. They are allergic to getting a big hit right now. This game felt like 2022. And I do not say that lightly, okay? That's like one of the most offensive things you can say to someone holding a baseball bat. I don't even care if they're a baseball player. Like, I would like punch you in the face if you said that to, like, my future child. Like, that is the most offensive thing you can do, is be like, wow, you offensively remind me of the 2022 Tigers. But that's what this was. If there was anyone on base and there were 2 outs in the inning's basically over. There is a 0% chance anything is happening. And the most frustrating part of all of those points I've already complained about in this segment 1 is that the at-bats were long. They did that part. They extended at-bats. They drew a couple of walks early. I mean, heck, man, like, Gavin Williams he only went 5 innings because he was in, like, the 70s at the end of 3 or something ridiculous. At least in the 4th. He had like 100 pitches. He went 5 innings. Like, they worked the count. He had a 25 or 30 pitch first inning. But nothing came out of those. Like, it's... I know I talk about how much I appreciate walks and how much I appreciate, working the count and how important I think that is. This is a team where their bullpen is so good that when you knock the starter out, you just keep getting great arms. So you have to take advantage, shocker, of the opportunities that present themselves. And they went 0 for 8. You can't afford to do that. You can't. And I know that's a very Captain Obvious statement, but here we are. They did it over and over and over and over again. And I think that's the most frustrating part. It's not like the 2022 Tigers offense, in the sense that the 2022 Tigers offense just was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And they didn't even get people on base. This was, okay, we're going to be the 2025 Tigers until there's a runner or more on, and then we're going to turn into the 2022 Tigers, which is almost more insulting. I know it's within you. And it's the good at-bats evaporated. Like, the only exception was really Riley Greene had a handful of really, really deep at-bats. Like, okay, he's thrown 20 pitches the first 2 batters. You got a man on. Okay, well, then he's just going to mow everybody down, and you're all going to strike out. He struck out like the first 5 or 6 outs of the game were all Ks. Like, could not string anything together. Okay, I have so much more to complain about. You're like, what a treat. What a wonderful start to our Thursday here. I will do that, unfortunately, right after this. First, I'm going to talk to you all about our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. They deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors, each 2-ounce shot pack of caffeine for a premium Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. I'm glad I can finally read. What I love most is how portable they are, right? Little just shots, little bottles, big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get a boost when you need it. There's so many great flavors. I always reach for plethora, honestly, of favorite flavors that they've so kindly shown us. And it's refreshing and gives me that quick little lift before a busy day. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in the store, online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We, of course, will be back tomorrow, whether you or I like it or not. We will be back tomorrow recapping the series finale here against Cleveland and previewing the weekend against Atlanta. We got to pick up the pace here. I have just spent so much time whining that we need to, talk a little bit more about the game that was actually played and not just have me cry on air for 30 minutes. The 2 through 6 hitters in this game is easily my biggest pet peeve of the offense, I guess. I don't know. All of the offense is my pet peeve today. But 2 through 6 is really telling. So the 2 through 6 hitters were Gleyber Torres, Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson, Riley Greene, Dylan Dingler. They went a combined 1 for 18 with 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. That is just simply not going to cut it. 1 total hit between your 2 and 6 hitters, and I just read off the name. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. Those are your best hitters. Those are the best hitters that the 2025 Detroit Tigers have to offer on a consistent basis. And they did absolutely nothing in this baseball game. The only exception to that is Kerry Carpenter, who's responsible for the only hit and one of the 2 walks. You take him out of it, you're talking about 0 for 17 with 1 walk and 7 strikeouts because he had 0 Ks. Then you even expand that. And well, honestly, no. Let's stick with 2 through 6 and just get those guys out of the way. Gleyber, I thought his at-bats were brutal in this ballgame. It's almost to a point sometimes where I feel as though Gleyber Torres is like trying to walk over anything else. And he just becomes extremely late on fastballs when you get late into counts. And I think that's why pitchers consistently throw him 2-strike fastballs or full count fastballs up. But just a whole bag of nothing in this game from him. I thought his at-bats were some of the worst we've seen from him in recent memory. Now, hopefully I've insulted him, so he'll, go 4 for 4 with 4 homers. Spencer Torkelson, I mean, my goodness, dude. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts doesn't even really tell the full story. These were just disgusting at-bats. Just brutal, man. And look, in game 1, he went 4 for 5 with a homer. He's not going to do that every day. But these were just uncompetitive at-bats. Just, here's 5 curveballs in a row. Okay, well, he just swings at all of them, fouled 1 off to extend the at-bat, and it doesn't even matter. The timing was brutal for him all ball game. Riley Greene, 0 for 3 with a walk, battled that first at-bat, ended with a strikeout, had the walk and nothing else. Wenceel Perez, if we're zooming out and talking about the rest of the lineup, Wenceel Perez, I thought his at-bats were incredibly weak. He's been a great bright spot to this team in the second half and really all season, really dating back to last year, he's been a bright spot. I love Wenceel Perez. In this ball game, his at-bats were very uncompetitive. And he had, I guess it's probably not fair to say about all 4, but at least 2 of them off the top of my head were very uncompetitive, including a weak grounder to shortstop late in the ball game when they really needed a hit. Andy Ibanez. I think it's telling that Andy Ibanez started the ball game in game one with a lefty on the mound. It was not in the top 5 hitters in the lineup. He still replaces Parker Meadows in this ball game. Now, I'm not in a vacuum too upset with Parker Meadows getting pinch hit 4. I know he was 2 for 3, and people are going to point at that and go, what the heck? I get it, but like Parker just hasn't been consistently good at the plate really this whole season when he's been healthy, which has also been very little. I'm okay with not leaving him out there against the lefty. Andy Ibanez has objectively taken a large step back in his production and like this, lefty killer that he has, was last year, I think pretty safe to say, stumbled into the postseason last year, obviously had a couple of really big moments in the playoffs. This year has taken a step backwards, got option to AAA at one point because he was struggling so much. He got I think it was a full count fastball that literally could not have been any more right down the middle, and he popped it out to shortstop. Like it's and I know I'm hyper fixating. I understand I'm being far more critical than normal, right? It's baseball is a difficult game. It is very hard to hit a baseball with a baseball bat. These guys all have more talent in their left pinky toe than I have on a baseball field in my entire body, right? I respect the fact that they are the professionals. That doesn't mean that in these moments, after already, again, erasing over 10 games from your divisional lead and just stumbling and limping into the end of the season, that it's not fair to point out the flaws that this team has been showcasing and the flaws that this front office, I think, kind of set them up with an inactive July. Defense. Here's something that I don't care I don't care if you're playing Little League ball or if you're a multi-time MVP winner at the major league level. It's very fair to get like pointed a finger at in this situation. That extra base that Cleveland took, that Arias took, where he just basically walked to third and then Tommy Kahnle threw a changeup below the zone and it got blooped out to right field because it's Cleveland and that's how they score all their runs. And then it was like, that is the most infuriating moment maybe of the entire season in my eyes. I almost crashed out right then and there. One of my least favorite moments of the 2025 season was that play. That just absolutely cannot happen, and it did happen. It can't happen in a meaningless game in May against, the Rockies. Nonetheless, with like as you're trying to clinch a division at the end of September, he could have crab walked blindfolded to third base. Nobody was there. Colt Keith playing third base, way too far off the bag. And it was a defensive shift, right? You have to also accommodate for the man on second. You cannot just forget about that. Brant Herter also did nothing to help the situation. Like literally anybody in the infield needs to realize what's happening there and make sure that specifically does not happen. And it did. The only thing they couldn't have afforded in that situation on the base paths was him ending up at third base, and he did it uncontested. It was awful. Now, it didn't matter because the Tigers got shut out. So I guess who even cares? Good, do whatever. Good job. Just let everybody run the bases and take an extra 90 feet whenever they want. Okay. Any pitchers? Jose Urquidy, really the only pitcher that I think falls into the category of what went wrong. 2 innings, not great. The reason why it wasn't great is everything was over the heart of the plate. It wasn't rocket science. Like he threw a billion curveballs, and I think 500 million of them were literally in the middle quadrant. So that's going to be hard to overcome. What went right in this ball game? Well, it's not too much on the offensive side of the ball, if you haven't been able to tell. Jack Flaherty, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. His ERA is now 4.6 on the season. This was not a very good start. I'm going to keep it completely real with you, but it was good enough. It was good enough. And you look at the final box score, you see 1 earned run in 5 innings. As I say all the time, if you're somebody that really only cares about results, then so be it. And again, he's on the side of things that went right. Like, this is one of the bright spots of the game, is he was able to tightrope his way out of danger over and over and over and over again. And it's the only reason this game was close, because the offense did nothing. 1 run in 5 innings. I'm not going to ask for too much more from anybody not named Tarek Skubal at this point. If every pitcher we had just did that, I'd be thrilled, even though they're only going 5 innings. The slider was actually really good. I thought that it was an effective pitch. Again, it's been kind of inconsistent this year. I've liked his curveball a lot more this season. The slider, I thought, was kind of the star of this game. The fastball was infuriating because it was the highest velo we've ever seen from him. He was pumping 95 multiple times in this ballgame with the heater. The problem is, unfortunately, he had zero clue where it was going the entire game. Just spraying the fastball all over the place. Like, you're at the bar, you're a few ginger ales deep, and you're playing darts. And just, it is, who knows, man. Seemingly every inning was multiple men on base. And, the 5th inning, his last inning, was literally bases loaded, and he got out of it. So we will take it at the end of the day. I guess I was going to say I'm not going to complain. It probably sounds like I have been complaining, so I won't say that. But ultimately got the job done and was able, again, to tightrope his way out of danger a lot of times. And for whatever that's worth, man, he kept the game close. So tip of the cap. Let's talk about the bullpen, then we'll talk stuff, okay? We'll do that right after this. Going to talk to you today about our friends over at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So many great features. You can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought. Helps you notice inefficient investments, allocation, all that good stuff. And you can discover forgotten 401ks, maybe from past jobs even. Don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off of your first year. monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of this very chipper and dandy episode of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, even when we're all in a bad mood. Bullpen. I thought the bullpen was really good outside of Urquidy. Brant Herter goes 2/3 of an inning, 1 earned run. That one where the Arias goes to third, and then Tommy Kahnle technically gives up the run, but Herter put the runner on base. 1 earned run, no walks, 1 strikeout. I thought he was still kind of spraying the ball a little bit, and I think he just, for whatever reason, man, he should be unhittable against lefties. And he is when he's not hitting them. He just so consistently, when a lefty is up, just sprays the ball inside. It's so weird. And I hope that's something he can iron out in the offseason. Tommy Kahnle, I actually thought looked fine, man. Again, technically he gives up the hit that scores that run, but outside of the last batter, the 4-pitch walk to J-Ram, that was just terribly uncompetitive. I thought he looked pretty sharp. The changeup I thought had good life on it. And again, the pitch he gave up, that was a changeup out of the zone. That is not a very hittable pitch, and hitter didn't get a barrel on it. It was a little blooper over the second baseman's head, and here we are. So, Yeah, I mean, and that play probably doesn't even happen. Certainly the run doesn't score if, there's not a runner on third base for no reason. So Bailey Horn, I thought, looked solid as well. 1 inning, no hit, no run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. I actually think he's looked pretty darn good in his last 2 outings. So hopefully that is a sign of things to come and maybe some sort of reinforcements from any lefty in the Tigers bullpen here down the stretch would be very helpful. So hopefully that is the case. But I think he's looked pretty good. That fastball is lively. It's just a matter of literally everything else. That's it for the pitching. I guess Paddock was good. He faced 1 batter and struck him out. So, tip of the cap. Good job. Kerry Carpenter stayed in the game against 2 different lefties, and I thought had pretty good at-bats against both of them, which I think matters. Had 2 line drives. 1 was caught. 1 was a hit. Parker Meadows, I thought, had a great game. 2 for 3. Gets pinch hit for late. We already talked about that. But 2 for 3 and leadoff double somehow doesn't score. Fastest guy in the team's on second base with no outs. That's always good. So, yeah, stuff. For whatever it's worth, which might be nothing, because I do. This loss is on the Detroit Tigers players and coaches, whoever you want to put. It's on the Tigers. Okay, don't take this any other way. I did think the umpire had a brutal night behind home plate. Just very inconsistent. You had no call, no idea which direction each call was going to go on any of the border pitches. We'll see how that goes in the umpire report on Thursday. The one silver lining here is that Cleveland just completely emptied the clip in these 2 games, and they should have. That's good managerial work. Like that's not a silver lining because the Tigers didn't win either game. Okay, so it worked. Good job. They should have. But their entire A-team bullpen, their we have a lead bullpen, was used 2 nights in a row. Pretty much all of them were used 2 nights in a row. And now, again, they guarantee themselves a series win, which is what they need right now. I agree with the decision. If there is anything to take out of it for the Tigers, it's, okay, well, you lost the series, but you have Skubal going in the finale, and there's no shot that maybe any of those guys are going to pitch on Thursday. So you just kind of hold your breath and hope that you can knock the starter out of the game early. You get the B bullpen instead of the A bullpen, and Skubal can keep the runs off the board. Now, Benetti so graciously pointed out, Cleveland is in control of their own destiny, which is just great. That's just exactly what we all want to hear. Obviously, the Tigers still have a 4.5 game lead. However, the Tigers have 4 games left against Cleveland. And if Cleveland were to win all of those games, they would own the tiebreaker. And then they play 1 more game than the Tigers the rest of the season. So there goes the half game as well. So technically, if Cleveland wins out, they will win the American League Central. Now, the odds of them winning out, it's 11 games, and they're already on a W6. So they'd be ending the season on what is that, a W17? W16? I guess there's 10 games left now. That's pretty unlikely, I feel like. But the fact that it's even gotten to this point, where at any point we are able to say the sentence, Cleveland is in control of their own destiny, when you had a 15-game lead at one point this season is pretty frustrating. Some good news, if you want. The Whitecaps won the Midwest League. That's awesome. Tip of the cap to them. And then the Flying Tigers won the Florida State League as well. So that's 2 trophies there in the Tigers organization in high and low single A. So that's kind of cool. Just put a bow on everything and then preview this finale. The team just looked flat, man. I think that's why I'm so frustrated. Aside from just how ugly the final box score looks and the fact that you got shut out, etc. Aside from like the numbers, like they just looked flat. And that's just infuriating because this is like the most exciting regular season baseball you can play. And AJ's been preaching this like this notion, right, that that there's no pressure, which honestly I appreciate. I don't want my players to be like, crippled with anxiety or feeling pressure from the outside. Don't listen to idiots like me, okay? The utmost respect to all the players and staff always. But this is something he's been preaching, has been like this. We're all excited to be here, and no one's nervous. That we're excited to get the opportunity to play in these games. You could have fooled me. You could have fooled me in game 2. Game 1, I already, everybody was mad at me because I just said it was a competitive, close, fun ball game, and half the fan base wanted my head. This one, there is no way around it. They looked flat. There was a like play where center and right field were just staring at a ball that bounced off the wall. There's the infield, taking an extra 90 feet. Just look like there is any life. Look like there is any fire for this team that is completely pissed away. It's massive division lead in a month and a half. And that starts with winning game 3 and not getting swept. It's Tarek against Tanner Bybee. Bybee has been notoriously very good against the Tigers as of late. I don't have much to say. This is a must win. Have fun. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. I appreciate you all greatly. We're all in this together, man. The fan base, be nice to other fans. It's so odd to me. Like, we're all pulling in the same direction. Everyone wants them to win. It's so odd to me to see like Tigers fans, belittling or like, insulting other. Like, I get we're frustrated, and I get we gotta, let it out. But this is a safe space to let it out. Just you don't have to point it at another person that wants the same thing we do. Okay. Detroit's the best. Hopefully the Tigers can figure it out. Peace and love. Go to therapy. On that inspiring note, see you tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers.